performance in the Ministry of the Public Service. I thank you for listening to me. I would like to thank you, the Director of the Manifesto, your Deputy Director, our Permanent Secretary, members from OWC and other stakeholders and partners, the media. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Wilson Mruli Mukasa, Minister of Public Service. We are indeed very delighted that we have been accorded this opportunity to say something about the commitments and our performance as public service towards the commitment of the Manifesto, to look at what we have done so far regarding those commitments, what we have achieved, what challenges we have encountered, and the mitigating measures, proposals, or ideas as the mitigating measures, so that eventually the Manifesto commitments are fulfilled up to 100%. By way of introduction, I would like just us to recap one thing, what the Ministry of Public Service is all about. The Ministry is key in enhancing the efficiency, accountability, and responsiveness of the Uganda's public sector. And of course, our commitment reflects our dedication to improving the quality of governance and public service delivery across the entire nation. The vision of the ministry is to have a public service that is affordable, that is efficient, and accountable in steering rapid economic growth and social transformation. And as our mission as public servants is to provide human resources, policies, management systems, and structures for an effective and efficient service that facilitates national development. These are the broad ideas that we have, that's the vision that we have as the Ministry of Public Service. But there are strategic objectives. One of them is to strengthen accountability for results across the entire government, and also to show responsiveness to citizens' needs in the public service performance management system. The other one is to streamline government structures and systems for efficient and effective service delivery to facilitate attainment of the national development agenda, and to strengthen the human resource management function across government institutions for improved talent management in the public service. And finally, to improve operational efficiency and effectiveness of the Ministry of Public Service. Now, as a ministry, we contribute to the theme ensuring justice and equity, and the sub-key results areas of reforming the public sector for service delivery and fighting corruption under the NRM Manifesto. And of course, the achievements, the pledges are detailed below. Now we have thematic areas. One is creating jobs and wealth for all Ugandans. Now, the Manifesto pledge or commitment is to coordinate government agencies to eliminate duplication of roles. So we have the progress, what we've done so far. We have indeed coordinated government agencies, and currently the legal framework for these agencies, we have 40 bills that give effect to the approved structures under the RAPEX, that is the either reduction, mainstreaming, and even abolishing some of these agencies which have outlived their usefulness. These were submitted to Parliament for legislation under this theme. And out of the 40 bills that were submitted, 34 have been passed by Parliament, and 21 have been assented to by His Excellency, the President. And then the other sub-theme is reform government bureaucracy to ensure effective implementation of our programs. And the rider is that the days of slow implementers of our good programs and plans are numbered. So we have done a number of things in this line. One is the business process reengineering, so that we can shorten the time taken to complete government business. The systems review and reengineering for the service delivery process under RAPEX are planned for July 2024 to June 2025, and I can say they are on course, they have started. This is to address issues of red tape and bureaucracy that are prevalent in the mainstream public service. The job evaluation has been carried out under RAPEX with an ultimate objective of harmonizing pay across the service based on equal work for equal pay and fair remuneration for all government employees. And this is ongoing. The other one is reform government bureaucracy to ensure effective implementation of our programs. And of course, this is the same thing. But we are also now looking at human capital. We are trying to minimize human-to-human contact in the delivery of services. Now, this falls within the broad spectrum of human capital management system. Government has implemented an integrated human capital management system, the HCM, which automates human resource management functions. To date, the Ministry of Public Service has completed the human capital management rollout and go live in 210 ministries, departments and agencies and local governments under phase 1 and phase 2. The human capital management has contributed to timely payment of employees and access of employees and retirees on the payroll. And of course, the relevant training has been done for the handlers of that system. Now, the other sub-theme is, again, minimizing the human-to-human contact. We have established the program of Service Uganda centers. What do I mean by Service Uganda centers? Government has established 6 pilot Service Uganda centers in Entebbe, Kasese, under the Ministry of Public Service, the headquarters here, Jinja, Arua, and Hoima. What are these centers? This is just a one-stop center where all or most of the frequently sought services are provided in very short time in one place by the entire team of public servants from the various sectors. We have also planned to establish 19 centers in all. These will be regional service Uganda centers, strategically aligned to the traditional cadastral zones of the, the pre-independence or the early independence Uganda of the 60s. These actually include Kampala for the central area, Jinja, Iganga, Tororo, Mbale, Soroti, Moroto, Lira, Gulu, Arua, Adjumani, Hoima, Masaka, Mbarara, Rukungiri, Kabale, Kamwenge, Fort Portal, and Mubende. Now, this reform rides on an integrated service delivery model on the one-stop center, where a variety of public services are provided under one roof and in a single space. But people come, get the service they need, and go away very quickly without running up and down or being told come back the next day or next week, or the officer is not around, or that, he has gone for lunch, come back at 3 o'clock. When you come back at 3 o'clock, you just find a coat and the officer is not there. So the service center for Hoima was launched in a colorful ceremony. And of course, in this we have partners who have assisted us, and we have looked around. They have a similar thing. In Kenya, they have the Hudma, and in Tanzania, and of course, we also have partners in Estonia and Azerbaijan. The team has also, in addition, pledged to provide us with some of the other lines that make a service center run very well and effectively. Now, in pursuit of minimizing human-to-human contact, we have also developed the electronic document and records management system. Now, this has been done by the ministry with the support of the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, and this has been developed. It is an integrated electronic document and records management system with an end-to-end business process for records and information management in the entire public service. Now, this electronic document and records management system has been rolled out to 5 ministries, departments, and agencies: the Ministry of Public Service, the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, and the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. So documents are managed and transmitted and sold electronically. We don't have to have a small boy running around carrying documents and pleading, please, this document is very important, put it on top of the file so that when the big man comes, looks at it before, when it's still fresh. No, just electronic, that's it, and that's it. And the document arrives in time, and it is attended to in time. We have also, because of some of the challenges that we have in inspection on the ground and all this eye-to-eye contact, we have developed the e-inspection, the electronic inspection as well. so that when we are coming to inspect you, you don't have to prepare a goat or something, you know, to meet and greet the inspectors. No, it's not necessary. Why should you prepare a goat? Or, you know, ask these people to stay somewhere in a hotel for about 30, 40 minutes, buying time such that when they get there, they are already too late. They can't see what you have, they can't see the mistakes, and they simply endorse that you're doing a good job. So we have developed this electronic inspection tool to be used in the inspection of ministries, agencies, and local governments. Now, this tool has been rolled out across 30 votes, and this has reduced turnaround time for carrying out inspections and reduced the overall cost of conducting inspections. This is just practical. If we have to go to Kisoro to carry out inspection, we have to go a day earlier, get there, sleep in a hotel, and then in the morning at 8 o'clock, we'll go and inspect an entity and stay there for the whole day. We can't come back because very fast, spend another night. So, but just the E2 is enough, and you don't have to go into all those expenses. Now, the rationalization of money-consuming agencies and restructuring government to eliminate agentification of government and duplication and all the attendant ills. Yes, that has been embarked on, as I remarked earlier. Yes, that the legal framework has actually been worked out, and most of the laws have been passed by Parliament. The majority, a few of them now, just waiting assent from His Excellency the government, the President. There are only 6 bills that are pending legislation. And out of this, government is going to realize a saving of 906 billion 906.77 billion shillings. And of course, we are going to incur a one payoff expenditure of 229.59 billion shillings to cater for gratuity, pension, and those attendant severance package requirements to the staff who will be affected during the implementation process. And there are not very many. Fortunately, this reorganization has not affected many members of staff, which is very good. It has been done with a human face, and we maintain this right from the start. We are also in this going to incur one time of expense, which is quite hefty, 196.744 billion shillings for the Uganda National Roads Authority. You know, you can see. And again, not many people from UNRA are going to be affected, but you can see how much money is going to be paid to them, which is almost as much as the money that is going to be paid to the entire group that has been affected by rationalization. So you can see how restructuring is going to help us to be very frugal and cost effective. Now, we also embarked on pay reforms for civil servants to improve implementation and discipline. In fact, as of July 2024, government has allocated 2.2 trillion Uganda shillings towards the enhancement of salary. And this is significant. It is significant because the salary bill, you know, has been improving. It has been improving, it has gone high over the years when you compare. And 60,077 public officers, excluding the Uganda People's Defense Forces currently, and 77% of their approved long-term pay targets. 77%, and this is important. My school days as a teacher, if somebody earned 75%, he would be in distinction one, or distinction two. So distinction was really a high mark. So as we talk now, these civil servants got a salary of up to 77% of their long-term pay target. And a total number of 276,000 public servants have been enhanced since the financial year 2017-2018. And we have also teased out among the public servants the scientists. The scientists, because of their strategic importance under this theme of creating wealth, of creating jobs, and of making sure that there is discipline and people serve very well. Now, the scientists have been teased out, and they are getting 100% of their approved basic pay targets. And this was achieved in the financial year 2023-2024. And scientists across the service. It's across the service. It's not only in education, but across the service. Now, the other manifesto regarding pay commitment is that we should continue to progressively enhance salaries and improve other living conditions, particularly staff accommodation for teachers, for instance, for health workers, as the economy improves. Now, the progress in this is that in financial year 2022-2023, Uganda shillings 884.648 billion was provided for enhancement of scientists in the mainstream public service, staff accommodation for teachers, that is progressively being addressed as the economy improves. Something is being done. Yes, progressively. Then we are also required to continue to enhance health workers' salaries and other benefits as the economy expands and generates more revenue. In financial year 2019-2020, Uganda shillings 195.525 billion was provided to cater for health workers, the judicial officers, the legal professionals under the DPP, legal professionals in the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, teachers, the teaching and non-teaching staff of public universities, and the deputy permanent secretaries and those ones who work in the service commissions, public service commissions. In financial year 2021-22, Uganda shillings 134.9 billion was provided for enhancement of lunch allowance for health workers. I think you recall this was a somewhat controversial matter, and we were actually in this hall when these issues were presented, and then it was agreed, yes, it's important, the lunch allowance and the internship allowance, all these things must be looked into, and money was provided. The other commitment is to facilitate, the second thematic area is delivering education, health, and water. Now, we are to facilitate local governments to recruit skilled health workers to achieve at least 85% of the current staffing levels. Government has progressively provided money for recruitment of health workers. The demand provided money for salary enhancement notwithstanding. In the financial year 2024-25, Uganda shillings 25.44 billion has been provided for the recruitment of health workers. And as we talk now, actually the recruitment is ongoing. So the staffing level as at the financial year 2023-2024 for health workers in local governments stood at an average of 87%, while the one for regional referral hospitals was at 62%. So we are moving. Yes, we are not yet there, but we are moving. We are moving. And yes, under this, the thematic area of delivering education and health and water, we were tasked to ensure that physical exercise and physical exercise days are revived in schools, in institutions, workplaces, and nationally. You see, so that at least we have national fitness, and if possible, we establish national fitness days. Yes, the Ministry of Public Service has developed an employee wellness and health management framework for the public service. This one is there. And in this framework, physical exercise is provided for, employee screening is provided for, breastfeeding corners are provided for, among other. And of course, this will enhance employee health and productivity. And well, we have not carried out an assessment yet, but what has so far been done shows that indeed that goal of employee fitness, employee health is being realized. And you can see, I'm glad to say that many MDs have responded positively, very well. Sometimes you see on Fridays, on Wednesdays, employees running around in the town, others are walking, but others are carrying out exercises in their compounds, which is very good. And of course, the Ministry of Public Service has taken the lead, as you can see. In fact, the days of those comfort stomachs among public servants are gone, they are numbered. You don't see many of such stomachs these days, which is very good. Now, the other area that we are focusing on is ensuring justice and equity. And the commitment is to recruit more judicial and other officers to fill the established positions in the judiciary. The progress is that government has over the years provided funding for both enhancement and recruitment of officers of the Directorate of Public Prosecutions and the judiciary. And as a result, staffing levels for judiciary increased from 31% before 2021 to 42% in 2023. The other commitment is to restructure and strengthen the government systems to synergize efforts, remove duplications, and align under a program approach. The progress so far is that the review of the legal framework, all those 40 bills that give effect to the approved structures and RAPEX are ongoing, and with 34 bills that have already been passed by Parliament. The approved structures for 9 ministries and 24 agencies have already been implemented to remove duplications and align under a program approach. The process of systems review and re-engineering is ongoing because these structures are living, they are dynamic. You know, you make an improvement today, it works, then it falls, becomes old, you have to make some improvement. So it's ongoing. The other commitment is to do with the public sector training to improve relevance and impact. And here we have done some good work as well as the Ministry of Public Service. We have built capacity of 5,003 individuals. And of these, 3,129 are male and 1,874 are female in different disciplines offered by the Civil Service College at Jinja. We have commenced undertaking tracer studies to assess the utilization of learning to improve service delivery. We have developed a capacity building framework and plan outlining essential training requirements at individual and organizational levels. We have established partnerships with organizations such as Enable, the Belgian Technical Cooperation, the United Nations Development Programme, and Institute for Corporate Governance Uganda to deliver customized training sessions in vital areas such as the local economic development, strategy planning, development and management, project planning, management, resource management and mobilization, strategic leadership and management, human resource management, gender and equity responsive planning and budgeting, as well as ethics and corporate governance. Training policy is under review to provide for a training framework. You can see some of those who have undergone the training, and even issues to do with the mindset change and patriotism. These are also being handled in the training policy so that we really achieve the Manifesto commitment. Now, the other pledge is to introduce timelines in which certain services are delivered, especially application for land titles, passport, driving permits, trading license, that kind of thing, even including application forms for application into universities and what have you. Now, we have worked on service delivery standards for 8 key service delivery areas, namely education and sports, water and environment, works and transport, social development, health, lands, agriculture and animal industry and fisheries, public sector management, and these have been developed, they have been costed, and compiled into a compendium and disseminated. And the standards contain minimum levels of service in terms of time, cost, quality, quantity, and coverage. So once this has been done, so it's now easy for someone offering this service to know what time is needed, how long should this service take, and so on. It's now easy. It's not left to the whims of an individual. A compendium of costed standards translated. This has been translated into 6 local languages, which include Luo, Lubara, Swahili, Lunyakitara, Luganda, Ateso, and the dissemination of the costed translated service delivery standards will be completed before the end of the financial year 24-25. This is not only for those who are offering the service, but those who are receiving the service. They should know what to expect, and once they know, then they demand that that service should be provided and in that particular time. And of course, the dissemination has involved even the highest principals in the country, you know. So it's not something small that has been done by the Ministry of Public Service, but it's really the entire government that is concerned and attaches a lot of significant importance to it. Now, we committed to use technology to track the attendance of teachers, health workers, and the distribution of medicines and drugs in government health units in order to curb absenteeism and theft. Now, the attendance, for instance, of teachers to duty is tracked using Teacher Effectiveness and Learner Achievement System, the TELA, in 20 districts under the Office of the Prime Minister. And then that of health workers, government has successfully rolled out the wall-mountable biometric machines that automatically link to the Integrated Human Resources Information System at the Ministry of Health headquarters to 16 regional referral hospitals, which include Jinja, Masaka, Mbale, Kayunga, Lira, Mubende, Hoima, Kabale, Gulu, Fort Portal, Arua, Entebbe, Moroto, Soroti, Mbarara, and Yumbe. So work has started, and funds permitting, it will be rolled out to the rest of the units so that at least tracking is possible. You can see what is going on and take immediate action if things are not going the right way. We have also looked at electronic attendance rolled out to 2 national referral hospitals, i.e. the China Naguru Friendship Hospital, National Referral Hospital at Nakawa, and Kirudu National Referral Hospital. And e-attendance is also being implemented in 1 general hospital, that is Iganga. Electronic attendance is also being implemented as a partner-led activity in some districts without biometric machines. Data is summarized from daily registers and entered into the IHRIS at the end of every month, and later reports are generated. Now, 75 districts are actively using this method. The pledge on pay reform and salary enhancement to remove injustices and address the compression ratio in salary scales. I've mentioned this above, but here I would like again to emphasize that Ministry of Public Service and Government progressively enhancing the salary of public officers. In financial year 2024-2025, the salary of Uganda Police Force, the Uganda Prison Services, and lower ranks in the UPDF, and indeed in the intelligence services, this has been enhanced by 40% of the approved long-term pay targets. Yes, there have been a few grumblings, particularly in the police, in the lower ranks, that maybe the enhancement had not gone up to what we were expecting. There's some good news, which shows that really we are committed. Yes, at the time that was announced, actually Finance had released less money. But as we talk now, Finance has released, has approved the money that we need to go up to that level. So there should be no grumbling, and that does not mean that we are not committed to really steadily improving the pay of the public servants. We are also in the process of establishing a National Emoluments Review Board to review and determine remuneration in the service. And so far, this has gone a very long way now. The benchmarking has been done. We have seen what our neighbors are doing, other people are doing elsewhere, and how this a board like this runs. And very soon, it will go through the process as usual, and it will be established. And then people will not have to shout and run and demonstrate. and meet the top executive, just talk about pay enhancement. No, they'll now go to the board, put in their requirements, the board, and the board will now look at it, study, carry out a study, do what is necessary, and then make a recommendation. So maybe, hopefully, I think, before the close of this financial year, we should have a board in place. We should have a board in place. So all this is meant to ensure efficiency and to ensure that, yes, all these manifesto commitments are complied with. Now, the other commitment is strengthen the supervision of government officials using both administrative and political methods. And Ministry of Public Service has spearheaded the adoption of the balanced scorecard framework as a cutting-edge performance management system. This innovative approach serves as a robust mechanism for gauging the efficacy of government initiatives by comparing actual outcomes against generic outputs. You know, in the past, it's been output. Okay, how many reports are you going to produce? You're going to produce 50. We have produced 50. That's good. You've done very well. You know, that's the output. Yes. And so far it's been like that, and we think we are doing a good job, but then still people continue complaining. No, we have not seen it. So now, it's not only output, it is outcome. In other words, what's the effect? What's the impact of what you have done? What's the impact of this report you've produced? You see? Or this road you have made, the many kilometers, what's the impact? What's the outcome of that road? Or this clinic you put up in a Lepton trading center, what's the impact? Has the health improved? Are people visiting it, or are people still going to the traditional healers? You see? So that's it. So now, we use now that as the balanced scorecard. And when we put it, we balance it, and say, yeah, this we are doing well. Or no, yes, output is there, but then the outcome is still very slow. What's the reason? Why? And should you now get more money? Or shouldn't we cut off the money? Now, the balanced scorecard is being implemented in 7 ministries, departments, and agencies, and 28 local governments. So, really, in a nutshell, among all those commitments that were given to us in the manifesto, we have tackled them, and work is in progress. At least we have a focus, we know where we are going, and we know what we want to achieve. But of course, this has not been without challenges. And the challenges are as follows. 1, in terms, for instance, of salaries, there has been partial implementation of the revised salary enhancement across government, which has led to decreased morale and productivity of those yet to be enhanced. This is clear. We could not roll out the salary increment at a go because of the, the budgetary constraints and the competing priorities. So that's why you find, okay, among teachers, for instance, the scientists have been paid up that level, the arts teachers are this, and this brings in a little bit of disgruntlement and some eroded morale, Now, what is the cure? We are proposing that let's fast track the enhancement of salaries for government employees across the board, all of them, including the administrative cadre. Those who administer all these people, tell them what to do, manage them, and the administrating people are getting so much money, and for them they are remained stuck, And sometimes it is our local feeling that we look at our worth in terms of money only. So if I'm getting 8 million and I'm your subordinate, but you, my boss, you are getting 2 million, you're a cow, then I have a feeling that you should not say anything to me. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, it's misguided, it's not correct, but that's it, the feelings there. So we're saying, no, let's make sure, really, that we pay the salaries across board, and then this problem will go. The other challenge is limited funding to facilitate the implementation of the reforms and interventions. For instance, the Service Uganda centers. The money virtually is not there. Yet we know this is a reform which is first class, very good, will provide the service quickly, and it will be appreciated, service will be appreciated, and the impact or the outcome is going to be very good. But the money is not there. It's not there. Or even the balanced scorecard. We want it across board. All the ministries, departments, agencies, we want it across board. But the money to roll it out fully is not available. So what do we do? Or what are we proposing? We are proposing that funding to the ministry by finance should be stepped up. And if we cannot wholly ourselves domestically do the funding ourselves, let's also develop proposals to attract funding from our development partners who are interested in us doing very well and providing a good service as well. Probably this might help us as well. The other challenge of the manual attendance to duty, which is a prey to abuse, and the votes do not have money to install the biometrics. So you come in, sign in your book that you have attended. There was a classic case when people came in and signed for 2 weeks. Yes, it was somewhere in one of the local governments. 2 weeks, the fellow has attended. It doesn't appear. And then, of course, the only thing, evidence you rely on to show that the fellow has appeared is that book. And the fellow has technically fulfilled the requirement. Signed, came in at 7:30, and left. He was a very good worker. That fellow left at 5:45. You see? But the fellow was not there. So this is really gross abuse of that kind of attendance. But if the biometrics were there, they could not be manipulated. It is you must be there, put in your thumb, and even your face is seen and is recorded. You cannot really have a ghost or have an AI sibling. That's not possible as well. So, now we are saying, okay, let's let government procure and install these biometric machines in all the votes from partners, development partners. Could be done even a little bit cheaply, but they are there and they would help. And then, if that's not possible, let's link attendance to duty to the salary payment. Don't you think that would work? Yes. But now, if that is not done, whether you have come or not, your pay will go straight on your account. You see? So you are not obliged. You don't feel the pinch. But if you feel the pinch in your pocket, you are supposed to get 1.5 million. And maybe you have made arrangements here and there to pay off some of these. You are going to pay school fees and so on, and Then, but you have absented yourself for 2 weeks, but you're expecting 1.5. Then you come and say, no, for each day you are absent, we worked out, you are going to lose some 50,000. So that one you are not going to get. Probably that will, Jack start you up and say, oh wait, I'll not be absent. So if this is okay, why not? Let's have it. Let's have it. Other people do it, companies do it. Even if you come late, they deduct. And so why can't government do it? After all, we are committed to providing a service in a business-like manner. Government is also like a corporation. So why not? That one might help us, again, discipline and put some people in check. Now there's this weak capacity to implement initiatives of the balanced scorecard. Yes, weak capacity. Where there is capacity, the will is not there. Oh, I'm going to do this, but this is my cousin. That kind of thing. And you know our system. If you do this, then the clan will sit later on. But you, Mr. Bakoja, you are the boss. And you know this boy here, how can you? You see? So we want to build capacity at all levels. Through training, through exposure, through this and that, and we take decisions. And probably even under the rewards and sanctions, if you have really stood upright, probably people come to respect you and they do what is required, instead of using other pressures to weaken your resilience and your will to carry out these measures. Of course, there is a problem of understaffing, which of course affects the implementation of these initiatives. And this is not because we don't have the manpower, but because there is a shortage of wage. So we're saying, okay, let's have the wage, and we fill up the critical positions, both at higher and local government levels and the lower local government levels. Yes, let's have that. Critical positions. First of all, the administrative, and then the other important technical ones, so that at least they are there and they provide the service that is required. The rolling out of the electronic document and records management system is still low. It is very slow. Now, we are saying the MDAs and local governments should adhere to the addendum to the establishment notice number 1 of 2021 by planning and budgeting for the electronic document and records management system. Some of them have not been planning for that. So let's plan quickly and put it in place, and it's going to help us. Otherwise, Mr. Director and ladies and gentlemen, I have spoken in rambling voice. It's not been very attractive. Forgive me, but let me end there. Thank you very much for listening.
Please join me once again to put up a very big applause to the Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, thank you very much. And as you are aware, all these reforms and the interventions that are being made from stage to stage are meant to drive this country from a backward economy to a first-class economy. There is no way how we can move in that direction without an efficient human resource or an efficient working system that can be able to lead us there. And your ministry in this is very, very important. The Manifesto unit has these observations. Some are for noting, some could be for responding as we get into the Q&A session. First of all, we want to appreciate all the efforts that have been made towards implementing the commitments especially in areas of salary enhancements, which I think is one of the commitments which is being implemented in the phases, and other interventions that have been introduced, the public service, the pay reforms, this restructuring of government, which is also ongoing. However, Honorable Minister, you are aware that this government has done a lot, and we seem not to communicate commensurate to what we have delivered. And one of the reasons that has always been aired why our public or civil servants do not communicate is to do with standing orders. What is the standing orders position on communication? Because people need information. This is an information age. So if the standing orders cannot match the demands of the time, I think it's high time they also reformed to reflect the drive in that direction. You have raised the issue of human capacity, human resource capacity at local governments. We see a positive figures here, 80-something% for health workers, but I want to say that our experience during the monitoring exercises is not reflective of this. We still see human resource capacity at local governments very, very low. And as you are aware, most of the implementation is done in local governments. But we also know, we are also alive to the fact that most of the recruitment is done at local governments. But still, at the global level, you are still in charge of that direction. So, how can these local governments be helped to recruit and come to build capacity that can be able to help service delivery at that level? And of course, when we are talking about service delivery, we are also talking about the different commitments that we are making, which become blueprint for that. I think there has been a challenge of ghosts continuing to appear on our payrolls, and this builds into the issue of corruption, which we have touched. And then we also need to see the deepening of the digitization. I know this may not be your main business, but I think it's high time the responsible agencies like NITA are put on the spot on the different ways you want to see deepening of the use of digitization in service delivery to minimize contact, but also improve communication and other related aspects that all lead into improved efficiency. You have talked about the rollout of the payment reforms, and I think here we can bear with you of the fact that sometimes the resource envelope is not adequate to have this effected 100%. The issue of absenteeism, Honorable Minister, is still a big issue on the ground, especially in local governments, both in the education and health sectors. We are happy there is some systems that are being introduced to track the presence of these staffs, but I think it is something we need to work on, because if we cannot deliver efficiently, or we cannot live to our promises if we still continue to have those who are supposed to put into effect what we promised are very absent. Honorable Minister, I believe this has also come to you through many forms. The corruption of the district service commissions. This does not only bring on board poor quality or incompetent manpower to that level, but it also builds into the bigger question of the bigger cancer of corruption in the country. So this is an area which I think needs a policy review, if necessary. Much as we are talking about the decentralization policy, but if the capacities have not built over time, then maybe there is a need to reflect on this. This is not, and it is also degenerating into political negativity. So it is something that needs to be seen. I am happy you have talked about this issue of the differences in salaries, which is also causing some of our teachers to retire early to benefit from huge pensions, which they didn't work for. So I don't know what mitigation measures you are putting in place to make sure that much as the government is well intentioned by promoting science and by also convincing the arts teachers to hold on until the research envelope expands to take care of their needs. But now we see a situation whereby those who have been supported are taking it and abusing this well-intention of government. I think that is all that we have to observe from the Manifesto unit. Allow me now to invite other comments from the media fraternity, and then you will be responding. And like I had observed at the beginning, your technical teams are also here to help you to give support. So now I want to invite you members of the media to raise your concerns and questions about the delivery of the manifesto commitments in the public service. I thank you, Honorable Minister. Any questions? Yes, New Vision.
Thank you very much. My name is Nelson Mandela Mhoz from the New Vision. My question to you, Honorable Minister, is in regards to the issue of ghost workers. Is still a very rampant issue. Would love to know, in the past 1 year, how many ghost workers, has public service or the government, gotten out of the list, payment. Also, in future, what plans do you have to ensure that this problem does not replicate itself, does not continue? And then you've really elaborated on the past achievements in the last 1 year. What do you have in plan, in the next year? Future plans. And then lastly, in terms of jobs that have been created, could you give us a highlight on how many jobs, that have been created? Because that's a very big challenge for us as a country. There's a lot of unemployment and underemployment, and universities and institutions of higher learning are channeling out, graduates, but the jobs are not available. What is the government, trying to do in this regard? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next. No one else? Yes.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is Olivia Naragara from Radio Sapiencia. In your presentation, you talked about setting up 229.59 billion as one-time payoff to cater for pensions gratuity to staffs who will be affected by rationalization. I'd like to know how many staffs will be paid, and also when is the payment kicking off? And also in your presentation, you talked about creating a national emolument board to review salaries of civil servants. I would like to know how many members will be sitting on this board and who will be in charge of determining their salary. since they will be in charge of looking at salaries of other public servants. And also, in the report of the State of Equal Opportunities Commission 2024 indicated that salary disparities affects public servants, and many staffs, especially in various sectors, especially the teachers, are demoralized, hence going to early retirement. I would like to know what's the ministry doing to address the issue of salary disparities. And lastly, recently we saw science teachers who upgraded from being teachers to head teachers, complaining about their salary not being increased, yet science teachers themselves, their salary was increased. What's an update regarding that? Because they had threatened to lay down tools before the opening of third term. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have the last one? Yes? Yes, the man in the cap. Mike? Come this side and get a mic.
Good morning, good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Sam Chijamu, private sector. Honorable Minister, I have observed that when vehicles are used, there is not behind spaces of agencies. What can we do about those things so that we don't lose them?
Can you repeat yourself? Maybe remove your mask.
I'm called Sam Chijamu.
Put the mic a bit.
Private sector.
No.
I'm called Sam Chijamu, private sector. Okay? I've observed that vehicles, when they are used, they rot behind in the spaces of local governments, government ministries. What can we do about those assets that have been used and retired, instead of letting them rot in the backyard?
Okay, I think he's talking about the disposal.
Yeah, disposal
of government vehicles. The disposal. Yeah. You are the last? Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Bashosha. Honorable Minister, I'm Ron Mayanja from Further State. The last report from the Attorney General's report, it shows that in government MDAs, there are still some ghost workers, the last report that he released. What's your take on that as the full minister of this ministry? Thanks.
Mr. Mayanja, have you just come in? Okay. Kari, now I think, Honorable Minister, allow me to invite you to come and make your response to our observations, and then the
very much. These questions, of course, technical team to answer those questions, because they are better placed or effectively the achievements of government. Observation spot on. The current
There is myths that so many of you live by. If your eye is twitching, it means you're going to see someone you like. If it shines and rains at the same time, it means a leopard is giving birth. If your hand is itching, it means you're going to get money. If you see an owl, it means somebody's gonna die. If you hear of a disease outbreak, you just know it is in a village district at the border next to some suspicious country. You will want to scratch that last myth, because Mpox is in 19 districts and Kampala is among with dozens of cases. Please stop going around checking anyone's hand. Mpox kills. Protect your loved ones.
So that later on, there should be no argument, or you should not come up and say, no, that's what I meant, or the press captured me wrongly. The written statement is there, it speaks for itself. So permission has been given, such that all these public servants, especially the top ones, in a particular entity, can actually say something about government or whatever program has been done by government. Then there's this arrangement of barazas, which is very common. Normally, public servants are allowed to answer authoritatively or to make addresses authoritatively to the people regarding public service delivery. So all this is a relaxation, really, of the old laws which we had in the past, which we inherited from colonialism. Now, the issue of recruitment of the human resource at local, especially at local government level. Fortunately, this has been, even in this financial year, has been lifted. We had put a ban when we were carrying out an audit. But the ban, after the audit report, and it had been considered by cabinet, the ban is actually going to be lifted shortly. It should have been lifted, but when we presented the report to cabinet, there were a few issues that remained to tie up and smooth, and these are being done. So next cabinet, I think we are going to have this report, and then the ban will be lifted. And we agreed in principle that those local governments which have a recruitment rate of 35 and below, no, 45 and below, those automatically should be allowed to recruit, beginning with the key people, and then recruit other members of staff. Unfortunately, during the budget debates, the money for that was actually included in the budget. So we're going to have this ban lifted very soon, and recruitment will begin across the whole country, particularly in the local governments, in addition to the other recruitment which talked about in health and in teaching. Now, and of course, we hope that people recruit people of the right caliber and the right qualifications, so that when they go to provide a service, they provide that required service. Now, somebody says that ghosts are still around in the service. But you know, of course, ghosts don't die. Don't you know that? They are spirits. However, now, after this exercise, the measures we carried out were that, yes, now ghosts effectively are going to die. What did we do? After we had examined all the people, and it was really a head count, you bring your head, and we see it. So people brought their heads, and they were seen. Those that satisfied the requirements were cleared, and they're working. Those that were not available, because either they were on leave, or they had official duty with permission, not in their stations, those were recorded, and the task was given to the vote managers to prove as soon as they come back that they're available. Now, those that had, faulty papers and so on, and Ugandans are sometimes very, very clever, versatile in this matter. They have taken use of the Nkrumah Road, NASA, is it NASA? That's NASA Road University. So those who said, no, yes, you have appeared, but now, you wait, and how did you get into the service altogether? So those put a freeze a little bit until issues are sorted out. And then for those we could not trace and so on, just one thing, put their names off the payroll. And we did. And indeed those who are not ghosts surfaced. The ghosts were very clever. They said, okay, we can find another existence in the ghost world elsewhere. So that's it. So now, this time even the process is now more rigorous. We are taking under this HCM arrangement, when you are being enrolled after you have done your interviews and so on, and you have been given an appointment, you actually appear physically yourself. Your record is taken, both biometric and otherwise, and documentary, and it's put in the record. So there's no way. And in that situation, you cannot change now your form and become a ghost or otherwise, or send your brother to appear before you, even if you are twin brothers. So the process is getting better and better. And I think in the next, let's say, 5 years, this question of people coming in because of this and that will no longer be there, because the machine will not tell a lie. Either it is you or somebody else. And you cannot say, oh, the machine did not see me properly. No, the machine saw and captured what it saw. You see? The machine captured you when you didn't have a scar. But now you have come with a scar. You can explain probably why you have got that scar, and to prove that you are one and the same person. But then this machine also is not just capturing the outside. It is biometric. It captures even the skeletal structure of yourself, which does not change after a certain age. It may be, a little bit woofy and so on, but it will not change. But also it captures the color of your eye. This eye will not change. It may be a little bit grayish, but it will not change. And then your fingerprint, that also will not change. So we are going to rely more heavily on science to assist us out of this problem. Then finally, the payroll is tied to this. At the beginning of every financial year, you tell us, or the vote manager tells us how many people they are employing and the amount of money they are going to be paid. If there are 800 people, that's it. And they also sometimes indicate how many people they are going to recruit. Let's say there are 800, they are going to recruit an extra 300, so there are going to be 1,100 people, and their money is well calculated and it is budgeted for. Then how do you turn around and say, okay, there is a ghost here, we need an extra money, amount of money for some 50 other people? All these things, all these measures are moving towards eliminating these ghosts. And of course, the actual reliance on ICT and creating synergies with other departments, because all this is related to your need, the national ID. Yes. So you are not going to have two IDs, one for the public service and another one for the national ID. It's one. That's all. Even when you get married or what, or you change your name, it still remain one. Yes, when the report was produced, yes, it said, okay, these could not be accounted for, therefore those are ghosts, probably. We put this, we're waiting for the ghosts to come. If they don't come, then they are ghosts, and we shall hear no more of them. We carry out a ritual of burning them, and they go. Now, absenteeism, yes, is still a problem in those areas, so that we have not rolled out these other systems. And also putting in this other measure of touching your salary. That one was serious. Why? Because we have been empowered by the President and Cabinet to revise the standing orders. And work is going on. We are going to have to revise those standing orders. To make sure that the managers at least have room to discipline these people, the people who are under them. But the way things are now, it is really very difficult to fire even a public servant. It's very difficult. It's not easy. They can be fired, but it takes a long time. Because the rules require a warning. Eh? First of all, the warning must even be verbal. Hey, Mr. Bashasha, yes, I've observed you for the last 6 months. You always come late. Please, I'm warning you, I'll not have this. That is verbal. And you don't warn Mr. Bashasha once. No, at least it should be a minimum of 3 times. And not in the following day. I warned you today, tomorrow I'm warning you, and then, no. There should be an interval of at least 3 months. Eh? That's already 1 year gone. Those are verbal warnings. Okay? Then, and they say, yes, will you show cause why you should not be disciplined? So the fellow writes now to show cause that he should not be disciplined. Eh? And he writes a long. And also he has the chance of using a lawyer, to write that response. Eh? That is another year. And then eventually, yes, I said, no, you should be interdicted. You go on half pay, you don't appear, and we carry out investigations. And you are given 6 months. Okay? That's a 4th year now. And then when the fellow, it is found that, it should be returned, you acted rashly, you the officer, then this fellow can say, look, you have even injured my reputation, you have made me suffer psychologically, and my people could now, first of all, we must pay the arrears, but also I'm going to court. And he goes to court and carries out successful litigation. And you have to pay with the costs and interest. The district might pay something like 300 million. You have had some districts running out of... So all that. So the public servant, because of this neoliberalism and sentimentality, which we put in our constitution, because, of course, we had come out of a dictatorship and we want freedoms of people and so on, and we are thinking people are good, that they are very patriotic, they will work. So Cabinet recently said, no, public service, look into these standing orders, revise them to make sure that at least the managers of these people can act decisively on fellows who are wayward and don't work properly. And the work is going on. And we shall tell you, sirs, when we are done, that, yes, one of the measures is to really touch your pocket. Okay, it's not just a transfer. You have been stealing government drugs here in Mulago. We now transfer you to Kirudu. You steal more. No. We act decisively. You are a thief. You've been caught. Go. And you don't only go with your loot. No. No. Then that is going to be also, it is no punishment. You must vomit that loot, and you are reduced to the money you should be getting genuinely. And why don't you even forfeit your retirement benefits? Why not? We are proposing even that. You have been a thief, and should you go and enjoy your retirement benefits, you forfeit them. So you say you think twice. You have worked for 55 years, and you're just 5 years to go, and you retire, and then you think twice, stealing this thing or being absent. And maybe the stealing, you are going to get 10 million shillings, but you are going to lose your retirement benefits. And probably now, because of better health care, you are going to live up to 100 years, enjoying free money. So you think twice. You steal and get 10 million and lose the 400-500 million you're going to enjoy in the next 40 years. So you work out. So trust us. We are making consultations with the lawyers and the people who are concerned, and even with the unions of the workers, to come up with something which will make sure that public servants serve according to the rules, and they fulfill the requirements and aspirations of the country. So that one actually will go. Now, corruption in the district service commissions. Yes, this has also captured the headlines. It's there. We cannot run away from it. We have also now been tasked to propose ways and means of curbing this corruption, hopefully even eliminating it altogether. So we are benchmarking. There are some areas in this world where corruption is unheard of in the service commissions. And one principle is to minimize, even to zero level, this human-to-human contact. And the increased use of IT, digitalization. And the service commissions are benchmarking, they are looking around and getting proposals from all the stakeholders to see what can be done. And I think with time, we shall have an arrangement which will be corruption-free. Of course, the bad effects of corruption in the service commissions are there. All these things we are complaining about: absenteeism, people being indisciplined, using government facilities and so on, and even torturing the people who are coming in. Yes, I came here, I paid 10 million. Now you want to get it free? No. You see, so my 10 million must also have interest. So for you, bring 15. The 5 is for the interest and so on. There was one interesting case, by the way. Let me share this with you. Some people came in from, was it Kagadi? Kagadi. Some high-powered people came in to plead with me. And they told me, yes, they had fulfilled all their requirements and so on, but they had not been given their appointment letters. So why not? So you see, they told us that you have not got your share, you as minister, and the Minister of State, and the Permanent Secretary, and the Commissioner. So each one had come with money. And they pulled out their messages, so the money is here. So we have brought it. So please, let's go back now with those appointment letters. Because others have got the appointment letters, but for us, first of all, for our children to submit the application, and the application is received, 2 million. Then the shortlisting, 2 million. Then to allow you to be invited to go for the interview, 2 million. And then when you have passed, now, for you now to say, okay, you are now going to get a letter, that is 5 million. And it is a formula, depending on what job. If your job is science learning, then the man, of course. If you are in youth 3 scale, obviously. And they say, look, you are going to work. How old are you? I am 25. Okay, 25 from 60. How many years? 45 years. You'll be eating money. And during those 45 years, you will actually be promoted. But let's work at the base, the youth 4 level. So they account how much money that those years, it is so much. It's only a simple thing, 10% of that. Bring it, up front, and you get your letter. Okay? And then the letter is delayed also. Because the date of interview was, let's say, 30th May. So they delay, and they give you the letter of appointment on 30th November. But it is backdated. So this money therefore must be paid. You assume to have been working. Okay? So that money, you don't get it. It goes to the HR or somebody, you see, our salary is very low. These are some of the measures we take to, augment. You can't see. After all, so that's how far it has gone. And people know it. Then how you do discipline such people? If they don't work, if somebody has paid you, how do you discipline that person? So all this has been captured, and we are now benchmarking, and we are likely to come up with a system which will curtail all these malpractices. One way is, again, to minimize this human-to-human contact. The other way is to deepen digitalization. The other one is, of course, more sensitization and training for these people, but also making sure that we get people of integrity. Yes, let them be there to serve. And they are not just serving for anything. It's not, they are not going to look for a job. It's not a career. It is a service. And they are doing it because of the love they have for their area. And then, of course, stringent sanctions. More stringent sanctions. You have taken 10 million, okay, why don't you call in jail? In jail, yes, for 10 years, a little bit. Isn't that good enough? 1 year for each 1 million. Yes, you could there. Yes, and when you come back, you'll find things have moved. Yes. Otherwise, if you don't want to call there, don't take the 10 million. And of course, we are thinking also of providing more facilities for these people. If this person cannot even afford money to come to the district headquarters to conduct an interview, but the person is going to interview actually has a car, his father has a car pickup, and if I find this man, waiting for a taxi and gives him a lift, you think now this man, when he gets the seat, he will not remember. That is the one who saved him. It was raining. He gave him a lift in the pickup and brought him to the office. And the boy who was going to be interviewed was there also. And this man was the father saying, you see, this is the boy who is going to appear before you. You see, you know him. You know, and after that, he said, we are ready to take you back. Are you going to be given some money to take you back? Say, no, no, no. So we shall wait for you when you are done. You know, we take you back. This man here, even if he's a reverend father, might be compromised. So we are going to do that and see that some of these things are cut out and people are not tempted so that the service commissions. But you wait, it's coming. The study is on. We are going to present a report and we see, and everybody will be invited to enrich this report to ensure that at least the service commissions are not corrupt. Now, the salary disparities, yes, they are still there, but all I can say that that is temporary. It's temporary. As long as the budget improves, then these disparities are going to go. They are going to go. And according to our pay targets, these disparities will actually will not be there. You see, what is envisaged, let's say for science, between science teachers and arts teachers, is that maybe the science teachers will have something slightly better, but in the form really of an allowance, something we may call a science allowance. But the basic will be the same. As long as you're a graduate teacher, it's a basic pay. The rest is just an added allowance, like it was in the past. I remember when I started working in 1975 as a teacher. Yes, the basic pay for teachers was 1,100, graduate teachers, 1,100 shillings per month. And that was for teachers who had got third pass degree. Okay? If you have got, that ordinary pass, 1,100. If you've got an upper second, because you are really struggled hard, you get an extra 100 shillings. So you get 1,200. Then, of course, other people, lawyers and so on, those will be slightly higher, and engineers. But the basic pay really was 1,100. So this is what we are likely to resort to. Okay? And then if you became a head of department, you are teaching, you got first class. If you got first class degree, that would be 1,300. Then if you become a head of department, you get an extra 100 shillings for headship. And that's it. Nobody complained. This is likely to happen. You see, as we move along to lessen all these salary disparities. It's going to happen. But when we get the money, yes, we're going to have that. But people have been saying, oh, why not? Let's just rationalize. No. First of all, if we simply say, okay, everybody should get an increment of 50 shillings. One, the money is not enough anyway. Secondly, the 50 shillings will not make an impact. And this is true. You recall when we raised the salary of local government leaders, I think it was a salary, an increment of 100,000 shillings. Some leaders from Fort Portal remarked, between what Haizinga, said it's Tabura Nampapura, isn't it? That's how much have they given? Money even which cannot buy a few reams of paper. Is that also an increment? So it was not appreciated. We are here proudly saying, we have even raised 100,000. It cannot. It is Gurana Papura. It's not buying the paper. So what we want, at least let's raise put an increment which will be felt. The other idea, not just output, but the impact. So that's why this is there. If science, just raise it, and they stay there fixed until others come up. And it will be appreciated. Yes. Now, people who are leaving the service, yes, what do? If they want to leave, I think it's okay. Let them do what? Leave. Not so? And find alternatives elsewhere. The goodest thing is that, yes, Uganda's system has trained so many others. They will come, you see, and work. Now, the jobs that have been created, for us, we are just limiting ourselves to the public service. But if you want to know all the jobs that have been created, there are other departments that will tell you the jobs that have been created. You go into gender, they have, and you both can tell you through other programs which have been created, like PDM and so on. Yeah, but for the service, really, the total, I think the commissioner here will give us, if we had 100% of vacancy filling rate, in other, the total capacity of our service, the commissioner will answer that. And then over time, since 2018-19, how many jobs we have filled, he will answer that also to show. But the thing is, yes, a few jobs, a few vacancies have been made available, and they have been filled, and then many more are going to be made available, will be filled. But the entire jobs in the country, it will be other people to give you an idea. However, what is clear, through all this investment that has come in, and the skills training that has been coming, and the other programs that we have adopted as a country, even externalizing labor, you saw here, Minister of Foreign Affairs telling you how many and so on. There are many jobs that have been created. Yes, much as the unemployment is still there, that does not mean that we have remained stagnant. Those who will be on the salary review board, it's going to be a small board. It's a small board in line with the policy. We don't have to have unwieldy boards, but it will be a board of different expertise, members who have different expertise in the field, for instance, of determining and calculating pay, the field of economics, field law, and so on. All these will be there. And we will determine their pay, yes. The pay, by the way, finally, has been worked out by public service, and there is an arrangement, a scale, which is going to compare very well with government employees, but also with government boards and bodies, and also compare with the private sector. The Commissioner will elaborate on this. Yes, I think that's about all. The ghosts, these ghosts are going. The ghosts are going, yes. And we have I think we have found a cure. Just remove their names on the payroll, and they will not surface if they are wise. But if they are insisting very tough ghosts, yes, they will come, we shall welcome them and send them to the DPP. Not so? I think that's the best place. And it is a case against them. A very serious case. Because if you eat public money falsely, yes, there's a case there for you. You have to go and serve in a certain place in prison, and maybe you may be required to pay back. So let me call the technical officers to answer some of these things, and then we get moving. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, the Director and your team, and members of the press. The Minister has answered most of the issues that have been raised. I'm only going to provide additional information where there's need. My name is Victor Bua. I'm a commissioner for compensation at the Ministry of Public Service, but I'm representing the permanent secretary who is on leave. On the issue of human resource capacity, the minister spoke about the improvement in the staffing levels. What I can only tell you is that government has been gradually raising the staffing level across government, and in our report we indicated how the staffing level for health and education is as of now, based on the old structure. But we have since reviewed the structure for the health sector because of the upgrading of health center 2s to health center 3s. It means we have created avenues for more human resources, right from the National Referral Hospital up to the health center 3s. Because of that, we have been able this year to approve recruitment to a tune of 77 billion. Clearances have been issued, Honorable Minister. The ban actually has been lifted despite the ongoing processes, and there are recruitments happening across the service, mostly for heads of departments in local governments. Where a local government has wage, we have decided to clear recruitment of heads of department at 100%. We are hoping that in the next 2-3 years, all positions in government at headship level are filled by competent people. But we also cleared recruitment in the health sector, education, and water for protection, and some critical positions, particularly in the local governments. The next is on the ghost. The minister spoke about how the Ministry of Public Service and government indeed has been managing the issue of ghost workers. I'm sure you are aware of the ongoing cleanup exercise, both under the Human Capital Management System, which is an integrated system. It means right from recruitment, the recruitment system is integrated to the PBS, the budgeting system, and also this system is integrated to the payroll system, which is the Human Capital Management System. That has also been integrated with the NIRA database, with the National ID system, which is also integrated with the payment system under the Integrated Financial Management System. Now, having integrated all this system, the next was, whom can we put in the new system? And that is why the audit was commissioned. Audit of all active employees and pensioners. We are yet to receive the report on the audit of pensioners and the headcount exercise from the Auditor General. But from the report of the validation and headcount exercise for public officers, we have been immediately able to put off the payroll about 5,000 public officers. These records have been escalated to the CID and their ongoing investigation. These employees will only be restored on the payroll when there is a comprehensive report. Of course, some of the ghosts are in form of keeping on payroll people who have died or retired. All these have been detected during the audit, and they have been put off, and the cases have been sent to the CID for recovery and also for prosecution. So with time, we are very hopeful, and also the biometric system, it means consistently you must have evidence of biometric attendance. And once that lacks, definitely that causes, it gives a signal for further action. The minister talked about corruption in recruitment, we are now emphasizing more the e-recruitment system. And also the commissions have revised the way marks is allocated, with the e-recruitment taking over 60% of the total marks. But also emphasizing on technical representation from sector ministries at local government recruitments to ensure that quality is considered at the moment of recruitment. Those are some of the positive reforms. Then you asked the issue of early retirement of employees who have got enhancement. The minister has already told you about reforms, legal reviews and policy reviews, including reviewing the Public Service Act. There is a possibility of reforming that area to make it very difficult for public officers who have been enhanced to seek early retirement after being enhanced. You have seen under NSSF, if you leave the service before attaining the age of 55, you cannot get your money. Those are some of the progressive reforms that we are trying to look into to make sure public officers who have been enhanced with the aim of ensuring they offer better services stay in the public service. Then the minister asked me to comment on okay, there is an issue on, we have talked about what we have achieved, what is next. Now, there are a number of achievements which we did not list because they do not fall under the commitments, but there are several other reforms the ministry has undertaken. One of them is the pension reform. We are in the process of establishing a funded contributory public service pension scheme. When you do that, you increase the saving to GDP ratio and you promote domestic borrowing. This reform, if achieved, is expected to even reduce the lending rates because of the availability of capital inflow in the country. But we are hoping also to raise the percentage of contribution of the retirement benefit sector to the economy by a bigger percentage of over 40%, which will surpass what Kenya is at currently. In 10 years, we are expecting the public service pension fund to accumulate an asset of more than 10 trillion. Compare that with the current asset base of the retirement benefit sector of about 22 trillion. And those are some of the positive reforms. In areas of rationalization, after agencies, there is the review and continued review of the structures of ministries and up to local governments to make them more efficient. Under the pay reform, the Ministry of Public Service has agreed with the National Planning Authority to have the 5-year pay plan included under NDP4. So the enhancement plan is now part and parcel of NDP4 to make sure it is a deliberate effort and gradually to give hope that every public officer will be enhanced thereafter. And of course the minister talked about the National Monuments Board. Then the integration of the payroll system for all governments and making sure every public officer is paid through the payroll. This integration will only exclude the army. It therefore means wastage of wage will be avoided. So far, we have told you how many people we have covered in making sure they're under one payroll system. This is going to be achieved. The legislative review, the minister talked about that, to make even the disciplinary process more efficient. Then the performance management system, where every public officer will be required to sign performance commitments, including informal performance contracts, to make them responsive to the demands of their job. Those are some of the positive steps the ministry is undertaking. The National Monuments Board membership will not be full-time. It will not be a body like an agency. They will perform their duties as and when it is deemed appropriately, especially when they establish, they will review employment terms, they will review the current pay system, they will set pay targets, and then enforce implementation. So the payments will be in form of duty allowances when they perform their duties. This is in line with government directive on RAPEX, making government efficient and avoiding creation of more agencies that drain resources from government. And that is the plan. So it will also have a lean board, and this board will not have representation from beneficiaries. If you're a beneficiary, you are not going to be on the board. The minister has already told you our benchmark countries like Zambia, Kenya, and so on, where these bodies are very more efficient. That is the kind of target that they will be implementing. The commissioner in charge of who is coordinating the RAPEX will give us information on how many beneficiaries, how many people are going to benefit from that money, which the minister mentioned in the report. I think that is her part, a part where she will talk about. Then there is the issue of how many jobs has the public service created. The minister answered that. The intention of government is to create employment opportunities even for the private sector, and that is being done. That's why it's talked about gender and all these sectors that create jobs, the operation wealth creation, and the many other programs government is implementing. But specifically about the public service, we have issued the structures for government ministries, department agencies, providing for recruitment of over 670,000 public officers, excluding the army. Currently, we have about 380,000 public officers, excluding the army, who are on our payroll. So that is the depth of the jobs that the public service is able to create. This year alone, because of the allocation of 77 billion, we are hoping to recruit about 3,000 public officers across government. So that is the additional information I thought I could provide. Then the issue of science head teachers and their deputies. The minister has already informed you. We got additional financing under the supplementary fund, which was issued on 12th of this month. So by Friday, we shall issue an addendum to the salary structure and enhancing the salary of science head teachers and deputies to their counterparts who have already been enhanced. The police and prisons officers from the rank of from the lower rank will also get addendum to pay enhancement that will provide them what they have demanded for of 25% increment from the salary of 2023-2024 financial year. This will also be issued by Friday, and the salary will take effect from July. Madam Allen Kakama, I want to invite you to come and talk about the employees who are expected to benefit from RAPEX budget, which was provided for compensation, and the savings as well, if possible. I thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for allowing me to make additional clarifications. Thank you.
Thank you. My task is simple, to give us details about the staff that are affected by RAPEX and who will be paid and who will not be paid. My name is Allen Kakama. I'm the Commissioner Management Services, and that is the department responsible for the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure. So I think the question was by my sister there, and she wanted to know how many people will be affected. The number that will be affected is 2,500. and that is from the 60 government agencies that have been rationalized and 14 government ministries. Now, one would ask, why am I talking about the ministries? Within the rationalization, we have phased out the position of directors. Sorry, not the director of not the one who is seated here, but the mainstream public service. The directors in the mainstream public service have been phased out, with the exception of 3 directors in the Ministry of Justice and the directors who are heads of government institutions. For example, the executive director of the National Referral Hospital of Murago stays, but we have the mainstream positions of directors where the commissioners, like me and my colleague, report. Those are the ones we have phased out. And there has been also the harmonization of the Department of Finance and Administration to include the administrative functions, including human resource, finance and accounts, procurement. Those administrative functions are all going to be harmonized under the Finance and Administration, headed by the Undersecretary. So there are about 80 positions around there. There are about 80 positions around there that are part of the 2,500. Now the rest are coming from purely the rationalization, where we handled the 60 agencies. Now, the 229.6 billion shillings is what will be used to pay. It will be used to pay pension, gratuity, and surveillance package. It depends on whichever any of the affected staff qualifies for. And we can also note that out of the 229, the 196.2 is only for one institution, UNRA. That is the Uganda National Roads Authority. You know, normally the terminal benefit is a function of the pay. So from there we can gauge what should have been maybe the determinant factor. That means the rest of the 59 agencies are sharing 33.4 billion, but the 196 is all for one institution, the UNRA. So government is committed not to send away people, especially those with good skills that we still need in the service. And that is why I think my colleague was saying that out of about 670 positions, government has filled about half of that. Now that means that in the structures of government we have vacant positions. Now for those who may not have been taken on by the structures of the institutions where the functions are going, can actually be absorbed within other structures of government where vacant positions are. But of course, it only happens if you have the relevant qualifications. That is also one other issue that we found on board, that out there in agencies, they do not take the qualifications very seriously. It is not like the mainstream where, the standards are very, very clear. And that is why probably most of them might not be able to pass through. But there is space for all of us, all of them, in case they possess the qualifications. I want to thank you through my minister, I want to thank you for the opportunity to interact with everybody.
Please, a very big applause to the team, to the Honorable Minister and his team. Thank you very much for that elaborate explanation on how far we have gone in creating a competent human resource and an efficient system that will see us go through our socio-economic transformation journey. This now marks the end of this session. Once again, on behalf of the presidency, I thank you very much for joining us and being with us. And like I said in the morning, you, our medium, please take these facts as they are. Don't create your own facts, but also disseminate them to the farthest extent possible. And for you who are having outlets which are, out of English, that's what we had agreed here in the morning, that let's have them translated so that our citizens can be able to understand what's going on here. On top of what we had also directed our frontline officers, the RDCs, trying to translate and disaggregate these achievements further into their jurisdictions where they lead. So, Honorable Minister, I want to thank you and your team. Thank you for honoring the invitation. And thank you for the presentation. Members, tomorrow we are here again, as usual. Time check, 9, and we'll be beginning with the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs and Security in general. So they'll be the ones presenting in the morning. Lastly, Honorable Minister, as part of the tradition, we will request you for a photo opportunity with the organizers, and then we call it a day. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
UBC